Oops. Gotta get me a stand. We're gonna do some more continuation on working with some of these small pieces that have problems. You know, these are pretty easy for you to get your hands on when you're first learning to nap, and you know, they've got a lot of the same problems that big rock has. This rock's got a lot of thickness in it, and because of the problems that this rock has, if we can get a point out of it, it's not going to be a very good point, a very big point. We're going to lose a lot of material thinning it down. It's got some concavities from some old pot lids. This is where the rock got in a fire in prehistory, and there was water in the rock and it exploded inside when it turned to steam and blew a hole in the rock. It's got another big one on this side. So, you know, we've got to figure out a way to get into this rock. This is some Texas buckskin or some Texas chert. I don't know if it's been cooked or not. It's pretty high quality stuff. Comes in pieces a lot bigger than this, but so what do you got to do? You got a big hump right in here between my fingers. That's one area you got to get off. This thing sticks up. That gets off. You got a couple areas you can't hit into. You can't hit into this. You can't hit into this unless you undercut it. You know. So let's see what we can do with it. On a piece like this, I'll probably use direct percussion. It's pretty difficult to undercut real thick mass without putting a lot of power into the rock, and direct percussion probably puts the most power in. The indirect percussion tools are really good, but what I want to try to do is knock a little bit of this off using direct percussion. The cortex on the rock is weathered, it's pretty smooth, and the copper likes to slide off of it, so I may have to use some hammer stones to get into this rock, but we'll give it a test and see. And we'll take a few flakes right here and try to set this platform up and lower it a little bit. Matter of fact, I may set it up with the indirect. There's the flake we took off right there. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to lower this lip right here and get it down to where I can shoot back into this and knock a lot of that off. I work a lot of this rock that other people don't fool with. I like it. I think it's the best way to learn. And if you can learn how to solve problems on this, when you get to a good big piece of rock, you're not going to have any problems. So what I want to do now is I want to lay this ridge that I want to hit on right here on my leg, and I want to tilt up just a little bit and drive straight in onto that platform with this copper bopper. It's a solid bopper. It's got a lot of mass. Get out of the way, Zoe. Get. And this is not what I'm best at. I've only got vision basically in one eye, so I don't have any depth perception. So I have a real hard time hitting exactly where I want to hit. I hit too deep a lot of times and I miss a lot. And we're going to try to drive straight across that ridge. Again, you know, these fractures come off, I think, what, a 60, 120 degree angle, something like that, I can't remember. But you got to tilt that rock up and kind of visualize where that angle is going to be to come through that rock. So I have to tilt this rock up to get my plane level and then kind of adjust off of there to get it to where I want it. All right. Any of that loose stuff off. That loose stuff will rob all your energy when you hit on it. Make sure you got a good strong edge to hit. And I kind of hit in and down. And I got the rock butted up against the back of my hand where it can't slide backwards. Yes. So there was that hump right there. And we knocked it off. So there's a flake. We smoothed it out. And you know, you hear a lot of guys talking about holding that rock, holding along the ridge. Rock is not flexible to any real degree. It'll give a little bit. What you want to try to do is as that flake peels off, it can only peel so far before it snaps. So you want to hold enough pressure where that flake can run without lifting that flake off and snapping. So you want to hold the pressure down there so the flake can run all the way across. This one snapped, but before it snapped, it was still pushing, and we kind of went right over that hump. And you know, there's probably a couple little tiny arrow points, bird points in those. So we did a lot of good. We took that hump off. I've got another platform kind of right here. I got a concavity, but I can kind of drive down this ridge right here maybe. This rock's pretty slick right there. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get into it or not. I don't have a grinding wheel stone to really roughen that edge up. I need to get one. And we'll see if this copper will grab it. Kind of put pressure on that ridge. Put my fingers on the back of the rock where it can't slide. Miss. Miss. Finally got it on the third lick. So there we go. Now we're starting to flatten that rock out a little bit. See all those humps on there that we got out? We actually got a lot of that concavity out. We undercut a lot of that concavity. So there's a bird point in that for sure. So now we got another area of thickness right here we can hit and try to drive a lot of this big chunk off right here. And I'm not near as good at this. If y'all watch Freeze Cracked or some of these other guys, Marty on Flint Napping Tips, those guys are outstanding at direct percussion, and they make it look easy. I guess it is for them. This is a really, really good rock. It's really slick on the inside. This has been heat treated, probably by the natives. I don't remember heat treating this rock. It's really waxy looking. I'm gonna try to hit right here. A lot of guys you'll see Freeze Crack do it freeze hand. He'll put a little finger along the ridge, or some of these guys, you know, come down and hit freehand and butt that rock up and pow, catch it. That works really good too. Yeah, I crushed that platform really badly. I should have ground on that some, prepared it some more. Mistake. Thought I had it. I should have gone to indirect. I'm gonna try the indirect tool on it. It shot a little bit through there, not like I wanted. And that did pretty good. So there'll be a bird point in that. So there's the area that I crushed, and I kind of came to the side of it and kind of shot out through there. And we'll be able to work that up and strengthen that edge and hit on it some more. So now we've got a ridge right in here we got to get rid of. This piece is behaving pretty well. Let's kind of shoot down into here. What you want to try to avoid is getting a lot of mass out on the ends. If you've got a big thick mass on the end and you're hitting out here, that mass wants to wave up and down, create a lot of vibration in the rock, and end up breaking your piece real easy. So I've got a little faint ridge right here that kind of runs down into this stuff that I want to hit, and I think with my indirect I can get on it and I can hit it pretty good. This rock seems to be running really well. Again, you doing something, you figure out the rock likes it, keep doing it. I've got this rock much flatter this time because that angle's much flatter. There's the flake. I don't know how it went together, but anyway, it broke into two pieces. But it ran right down that ridge, and it ran kind of straight up into that place. And again, you know, I'm not really sure how I can get into that real easy without losing a bunch of mass down here, knocking this lip down. So what I do is just kind of work other places that I know I can do something and try to shoot stuff towards there and weaken it up and clean it up as best as I can before I get to it. Just trying to knock a little mass out of the tip. Don't want all that mass to be loaded up out there on the ends. This is the piece that's causing me the most problems right now. I think what I can do is tilt this rock up on the edge and kind of hit a real short flake kind of down into that bulb of percussion in that concavity, and just kind of knock this end off right here, and that should lower my platform to be able to hit onto there. I hit a lot of stuff a lot of people probably wouldn't. Shouldn't. It lowered it a little bit, but it's not doing exactly what I wanted. It's hinging up real bad in there. I knew it would. Just try to drive a flake right across this. There's a little arrow point in there. I like making the little bird points. Got a ridge right there. But it's real slick right there on that face, so I don't have a real good way to get in there yet. That lowered that down quite a bit. And that's just going to be a real short flake. I'm going to be able to knock this. I don't want it to go much further than about here. It's going to jump inside that rock and hinge out and do all kinds of crazy stuff. That's what I wanted. Now I'm going to come down this side and down this side and continue knocking that knot down. Knocking that knot down. I need to get a little more aggressive with it, try to get up into it a little bit more. I hit it so hard, that initial strike on this brass on copper tools transfers the energy really, really well. Like I said, when you're working with really high grade material, it tends to shatter it a little bit, but when you're working really high up on the platform, it really initiates that break into that thick material really well. And I like it. When I'm working with this tool, I'm setting way up high on the platform instead of sitting right here on the edge. I'm sitting much further back into the platform and trying to initiate that crack and undercut the problem. Again, pushing in, hands braced up so the rock can't jump when I hit it. There's the hump. Now I got that ridge right there I can run down. These edges on these things are really sharp. set that tool really high into that platform again. Didn't get exactly what I wanted off of there, but we got some good out of it. This one got a little bit more good. This one ran right down that ridge. So now that knot's gone. So this piece has a lot fewer problems now than when we started. I'm just kind of thumbing the rock, flipping it around, looking for different places to attack it. So we'll stop there for now. We've kind of got this into a first stage biface. It's still got a bunch of big square edges, but we got rid of the thick problems and we have it into a much more uniform piece now. It's still a long way from the finish line with this one, but we solved some of the hard stuff.